take a look at some medical front desk abbreviations. So a lot of the job that you do, no matter what part of healthcare you're in, is to do some notations, to help check in patients, and to make sure that all of your documents are enough for your insurance companies and for reimbursement. And so we're going to talk about some of those common abbreviations that you see up at the front desk and some of those patient check-in interactions. All right, HIPAA. HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And while I'm not going to cover HIPAA in its entirety here, you should know what it stands for, that it was enacted in 1996 in the United States, and that it helps to protect us about disclosure from our medical records. And so you can't just get anybody's medical records. You can't just send them to anybody. They do have to have permission from the patient in order to disclose portions of that medical record. They do include what we call PHI items, which we're about to see what that stands for. So PHI is the abbreviation for Protected Health Information. And protected health information, or that PHI, includes a lot of things. This is not a comprehensive list, but this includes a lot of the biggest items. So any addresses, whether it's where you live or your email address, health insurance information, any of that information, social security numbers, names, exam results of any sort, whether they are digital, blood, x-rays, images, lab reports, or things that are generated inside the office. Those are all considered PHI, or protected health information. And these are things we can't just tell anybody about our patient. Okay, so let's talk about some health insurance abbreviations, things we're going to see a lot in the billing world. So if you're submitting a bill to the health insurance company, you're going to see the first two referred to routinely. And the first is CPT, which stands for Current Procedural Terminology. And that really talks about what is it you did for the patient that day inside of the medical office, right? Did you perform some sutures? Did you put on a cast? Did you take x-rays? So what is it you did? Going with that is the ICD, and in particular right now we're in the ICD-10, which is the 10th edition, and this stands for International Classification of Disease. I expect soon that we'll see the ICD-11 in the next couple of years as this does get updated periodically. However, this really defines what the patient has been diagnosed with. So ICD tells us about the patient's diagnosis, and the CPT tells us about what is it we did for the patient inside the office today. And both of these items are going to be right on the healthcare bill and the things that you're sending to the insurance company. Next is the NPI, which stands for National Provider Information. Every healthcare provider in the United States in particular is provided with one of these numbers. You can apply for this, right, if you hold a license, but this has to be on each and every single one of your bills in order to get reimbursed. SOF stands for Signature on File. So you don't have to have a patient sign every single time you send out a bill. You can create one signature page that says, it's okay that you bill my insurance company, and we refer to this as the SOF, or the Signature on File. And EOB stands for Explanation of Benefits. So you probably have received one of these if you've ever looked at any health insurance bills, and this is essentially the bill from your office. It explains things from the CPT, the ICD, and the costs associated with them. NOS stands for Not Otherwise Specified. This is used commonly. We'll do some future practice with this in other units, but if there is no other or better way to classify something, it may just be classified as NOS, meaning that there is no more detail about this problem. All right, let's take a look at our last two abbreviations here. So the two abbreviations that are commonly used, again, in the more administrative components of medical healthcare are EHR, which stands for Electronic Health Record, or EMR, which is Electronic Medical Record. An electronic medical record is really just the the electronic version of a single patient's medical record, whereas the EHR is really the entirety of everything that is held by your healthcare facility. So maybe comprised of thousands of patients' records, we would refer to that system as the EHR, whereas Mrs. Smith's record is just the EMR, her particular medical record.